Okay, this is just a quick lesson on how to be able to do a flowchart. It goes along with this lesson right here. Now, the flowchart that we're going to be doing in this is beyond this week's lesson. It's just I wanted to show you how to be able to do the different things inside the flowchart. It's, as always, a good idea that you open up Visual Logic and you follow along and create this flowchart just so you can see how everything works. So this is the problem statement that has been created. And now that we've created this, we want to go ahead and create this flowchart down here where I have a picture of it, but I wanted to go ahead and explain how I created it. So let me just move this over. Here's a text file with the same thing. This is what we want to create. I go into my Visual Logic and I double click on it. That will open up Visual Logic. I'll do continue and I'll do demo mode. Again, a lot of my pictures do not have the word demo all over it. So I'll shrink it down a little bit. But since I want you to see the same thing you're seeing, it has the demo on it. If you want to get rid of this demo mode and be able to save your flowchart, it only costs around $100. And students have always said that is way too much money, and I agree. I got it for free from a book publisher, so I use it to get rid of the demo and be able to save and reopen my Visual Logic files, but you don't have to. You just use this demo mode. All right, so let's start off with the first thing. Assumptions, big number equals 60. I simply use these symbols. So if I click on that little red arrow between these two, it opens up. That's the left mouse click. Anytime you see an equal sign, that means assignment. Anytime you see input, that's input. Anytime you see a if, that's an if. I mean, it's so easy. It's so obvious. So the first one is an assignment because it has an equal sign. And I always copy and paste. So I come over here and I'll grab this one, Control C, Control V. That's faster than right mouse clicking, all that. Then we have a prompt. What question do I want to ask? Wait a minute. That's not right. All right, I'm going to continue. So I make a mistake. Go figure. I'm thinking of other things while I'm doing this, unfortunately. All right, so we have an equal sign. We have an assignment. I copied that. I pasted it in here. One of the things that I talk about is keeping the names smaller because you want it not be too far. Because look what happens if I add some characters to this, it disappears part of it. Now it comes back if I drag it open. But the best thing to do is try to keep it so that your names fit in the box just to make your life a little bit easier. The computer doesn't care. Your instructor doesn't care. Just makes your life easier. And then I have 60 on this side, and I think I can type that without making a mistake. So numbers I'll type, but letters I'll always copy and paste. So the next thing is input. And now I'll go ahead and put my input symbol in like I did last time. Okay, inputs have two values we want to stick in there. It has a variable and it has a prompt. So variable is where we're storing the answer. Prompt is the question we want to ask. The variable always will be copy and pasted from Control C, Control V from our problem statement. And here I just have to make up a question and make sure that it's always inside quotes. So I make two double quotes and back up into it, and then I'll say, what is the first number? Question mark. Again, everything has to stay inside those quotes. It won't show up here, but it'll show up when we run it. All right, now I have another input to do. I click on the more. I copy the second number variable, Control C, Control V. Then in here I simply put double quotes, back up into it, and say, what is the second number? Question mark. Okay, now I have my calculation section, and again I have an equal sign, so that means that this is going to be an assignment. And here I have total on the left, Control C, Control V. And then on the right, I have this, Control C, Control V. So if you're using Control C, Control V, it's faster than typing and obviously more accurate also. This group of lessons that we're doing doesn't have any decisions in it, but I wanted to show you here so you can come back and take a look at this when you're ready to do it. So we have a decision, so that's an if condition. We open it up. Now the condition here is always two values and how you want them evaluated. So we never put the if in here. Control C, Control V. Think of it, the if is the diamond itself. So if we put an if up here, it would be if. So all we want is two values and how we want them compared. And then we'll go ahead and do the right one. So again, there's an equal sign. So I'm going to use an assignment. And then it'll be Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and there we have it. Now these kind of are similar on both sides. They're both putting something into message. So I can either create a blank assignment here, or sometimes you might find it easier to just right mouse click and copy this, and then come over to the other side and right mouse click and paste it in, and then just change the value. So message stays the same, it just has a different message. So I'm going to Control C, Control V, boom. And the last thing I have is an output, and that output is outside the decision. So I go above end here and do an output. And then I'll do Control C, Control V. Now here I could just leave that there because the text is going to be there, but I'm just going to make sure that you know how to be able to do a proper output. And I'll put in here number, message, colon, space, space. That's my label. And then in between my label and my variable, my place in memory, I'm going to put a plus symbol. That's the join. Every output has a label, a join, and a place in memory. Okay, we'll click OK. Now I'm ready to go ahead and run this and see if it works. All right, so if the number is greater than 60, it's going to go one way. So I'll do 100 for the first number, 100 for the second number. And wow, that's a big number because it's 200. Oh, wait a second, I was missing an output, aren't I? Yes, I am. I'm missing total. I didn't notice that there. All right, so let's go ahead and add. That makes more sense, doesn't it? That we'd output that also. All right, so I'll copy that, paste it in, add a label. Whoops. So inside quotes, I'm going to put in the sum of the numbers, and then I'll join that again using the plus symbol with the place in memory. Now it makes a lot more sense. All right, let's run it again. 100 for the first, 100 for the second. The sum is 200, that's greater than 60, and it says, wow, what a big number. So we know that that decision worked. And then we have to test it a second time because we want to see if the other side works. And I'll do 1 and 1, that's less than 60, so that's 2. And it says the number is okay. So that's exactly how you do a flow chart. See how easy and quick that was? So when a student tells me they're spending hours on the flow chart and they can't get it right, that's telling me that they don't know what they're doing. And most of what they're not doing is not copying and pasting from here to here. Because if this is consistent, then this should work first time and you should be able to move on to the code. All right, well, that's it for this. Oh, how do I save this? I do view and then create flowchart meta file. So that's how we save our flowchart. You're actually not saving the flowchart, you're saving a picture of it. Then it's going to ask me where do I want to save it. And I want to go ahead and I'm going to put this into our week 2. Student folder. So remember we have this 114 folder we downloaded. Come on now. There you go. Slow. Come on now. There you go. And there's our assignments. This is for assignment 2. So again, I'll go ahead and add this. I'll call this lessons. So these are the lessons in the assignment 2 section. And then I'll just call this first flowchart. I don't put anything else, just the name first flowchart, and I'll save it. If I want to see, if I want to open it up, I can go back, go into my assignments, assignment 2 lessons. And if I double click on it, it's going to open up in Paint and show me that flowchart. As long as I tell it that's what I want. And there it is. That's what you're going to be turning in to on your lesson in your to your assignments. We want to see your flowchart, and I want you to use that create EMF. If you try to do a print screen, it's going to look ugly. So don't use print screen. Just do like I did before. Just do well, where is it? Just do view, create flowchart meta file, and then type in the name of what it is, the flowchart that you're creating, and it'll create that EMF file. And that's what you turn in. All right, that's it for this lesson.